What's going on with my fellow fantasy basketball fans out there? Welcome to the Score Fantasy Basketball Podcast. It's Waiver Wire Queen. In today's video, I want to talk about teams I feel are the perfect fit for Ben Simmons. Now, some of these trades work based on a trade machine, and some of them will take a third team because the financials just don't add up. So stick around and let's talk about teams that should target Ben Simmons because it'll be a good fit for all parties involved.
Welcome to The Score, Fantasy Basketball Podcast, where you get great advice on how to stay ahead of your competition here in these fantasy basketball streets. Now, the dopest analyst in fantasy basketball, Waiver Wire Queen.
All right, y'all, let's get right into it. So, we all know the Ben Simmons situation. Didn't have a good postseason. Obviously, we all know that. Seemed like the Sixers pretty much kind of threw him under the bus a bit at the end of the Atlanta series. Kind of backtrack a little bit, it seemed to me. They seem to want him there, or they want equal value. Well, right now the value is not that high. It's kind of crazy to see what people think of Ben Simmons. When I think of Ben Simmons, I think of a potential triple double player. He's not a two-way player on a high end, but he's still a two-way player in my opinion, because he's still going to get you about 14, 15 points, 8, 9 rebounds, 7, 8 assists, maybe 2, 3 steals, blocks, great defense. He's just not going to hit threes. Obviously, that's today's NBA. He's not going to hit threes, and his free throw shooting percentage is obviously really bad. Thing is, that is stuff that can be corrected. Just imagine if Ben Simmons were to really put a lot of work into his jump shot. And he doesn't even have to be a great 3-point shooter. Just maybe work on that mid range game and at least get up to 70% free throw shooting. And sky's the limit. I think he's a talented player. He's just not that great of a shooter. But he's still going to be efficient when he's shooting, because he's going to typically shoot when he's in the paint. Obviously, it looked like at times in the postseason he lost confidence and didn't want to shoot certain shots, or maybe his head was in the game. I really don't know. From what I observed, it looked like he may have lost some confidence because of a lot of things that was going on. They was doing the hack a Ben. He wasn't making those free throws. And I don't care who you are, it will get in your head. I don't care if you are the best player in the league. If you are not mentally tuned in and you are missing shots, and now you're missing free throws, and now they are fouling you and expecting you to miss, you're going to the free throw line and you are missing, they're going to keep fouling you. And now it's in your head, because these points obviously are important in close games in the postseason. So yes, it's been a hard off season, obviously, because the Sixers haven't gotten, I'm guessing, the trade offer they feel is of equal value for Ben Simmons. Also, he wasn't going to report, then he finally reported, which I expected him to do, because he still want to get that check. He was suspended because they said he wasn't in tune or tuned in on defense or in practice. We talk about practice, y'all. What are we talking about practice here? Is that what we doing? We talking about practice? Okay. Yeah. No. But in my opinion, again, he is definitely a talented player. Right now, he is out. I guess injuries, pretty much back, mental. I get it. He wants out, and the sooner the 76ers accept it, they can make a trade, and they still will have a good team, because obviously they're right now on record the best team in the Eastern Conference. So let's talk about some teams who I feel are the perfect fit for Ben Simmons. And again, some of these teams are going to have to make it work by adding a third team with multiple players because some of these players' salaries are ridiculous. And I'll let you know those players. So Brooklyn Nets is no secret. They have their own issues with their one of their superstars, Kyrie Irving, obviously hasn't reported for different reasons than Ben Simmons. He hasn't reported because of the whole vaccine situation. He's not, and he doesn't want to get the COVID vaccine. And again, that's his decision. However, in New York City, you have to produce that card in order to go in certain establishments. So what is he gonna play games on the road? Well, that was during the off season, preseason, where they're trying to see if they can figure that out. Now it's just up. BK seems to be done and moved on, and they want to make a trade. So I feel this trade works because both players are disgruntled. They need a new scene. They need a new team. They need to have that opportunity to start fresh. I feel like BK would be winning because it's different reasons why Ben Simmons is out and Kyrie is out. Kyrie still may run into an issue with not being vaccinated in other cities, which means he may not be able to play because he's unable to gain access to the arena on those particular nights. With Ben Simmons, it's just really right now, I want out. That's what it feels like, and it seems to me. So this would be a good trade. The salaries match up perfectly. Kyrie's at what, 35 million a season, Ben at 33. So the salaries work well. And again, both teams need a fresh start. Now, why this trade works for both parties? So for BK side, with KD, he's and Harden, even though you see Harden with the ball in his hand a lot, KD is capable of playing with anyone. He's not one of those superstars or scorers who really needs the ball in his hands to score. He can move around. He can score any way, shape, or form. He doesn't need the ball in his hands to score. Okay. And we've seen that. We know he was able to coexist with Westbrook. With Harden, it may be a little bit harder, but I still feel like it's a great fit. Maybe Harden can go back to, instead of being the point guard, be the shooting guard. And you also understand that Ben Simmons is going to bring defense. Kyrie's not a great defensive player like Ben Simmons, so you're going to be getting a great defender who played the hell out of Trae Young this past postseason. So you're getting great defense, and that is very important. This is a situation to where you really don't need Ben to come out and be a scorer because they already have several scorers on that team. You got KD and you got Harden. So with Ben, nothing wrong with it. You add Ben, and that's a good fit. It's great. Now for Philly, obviously you're going to be losing some of that defense, but nonetheless, you are picking up a guy capable of dropping 27 points at a high efficient rate, which is great. It's great floor spacing. He's going to get Embiid involved, which Ben was able to do as well. But you're getting the scoring that you may have lacked to get ahead and win that series versus Atlanta's. That was part of the reason, missing some scoring, but there was other reasons. So I wouldn't say that it was all about what Ben did or didn't do. There are several reasons why that series didn't go well for Philly, and it's not just the Ben Simmons factor. Turnovers, blowing leads, it's all a part of it. I don't think Doc managed the team well. And ultimately, when you have someone who's not playing well, it's easy to just blame it all on them. I don't feel like he's the total reason. He's the only reason that team lost. No, if you watch the series, you know that it was part of the reason, but it wasn't the only reason. But again, this trade works for both parties, so it is something that they need to get done so both of these guys can get back on the court and help my fantasy basketball team. Because if you guys got them in fantasy basketball, you already know that. Can't wait to get that 27 and 6 or 7 from Kyrie, and then Ben, potential triple double type player. That is great fantasy basketball value from both players, and it helps both teams. It works. You don't have to add a third team. You don't have to add multiple players to make this trade work. It works because the money works, and it's just a good fit for all parties. Now, another team that should consider Ben is the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, in order to make this trade work, and I want Westbrook in that trade because I just don't feel like he's a good fit for the Lakers with LeBron and Davis. I don't like that fit. I said it before the season started. Once they made that trade, that's not a good fit. Not going to work. It doesn't look good. Okay. So if they were able to get or try to get Ben, obviously they would have to add a third team because Westbrook is at like 44 million and Ben is only at 33. So you can't just swap these players. You need money to make it work. Okay. And again, the biggest reason why the Lakers should make this move is because you're getting a younger, defensive minded player who's not looking to score. He's going to pass the ball. He's a better passer than Westbrook, and he's still going to get you at least 14, 15 points, 7, 8, maybe even 9 rebounds, 8, 9 assists at a higher efficient rate. And he's not going to be turning the ball over as much. And he's not going to be jacking those shots up that Westbrook jack up that most Laker fans be going crazy over. You're not going to see that. The people who should be scoring the ball will be scoring the ball the majority of the time. He's going to get AD the ball, and he's going to get Braun the ball. It works. LeBron can play with anybody, but the Westbrook fit is just not. It's not a good fit to. I don't know about you guys, but it's not a good fit. What y'all think? Y'all think that's a good fit? Because I don't. Okay, and then I just feel that Westbrook would fit with Philly because he likes to get everyone involved, right? He wants to get his little triple double. He's gonna get his assist. So you still will be able to get Curry involved. Obviously, Embiid, Harris, Green. You'll still be able to get your guys involved. You're gonna get more points from Westbrook. You're not gonna get that same defense. However, you're playing well enough. And when you again look at the team, they have a really good team and they are top of the Eastern Conference right now. So I don't feel like they're losing that much by bringing in Westbrook. And you never know what other player you may acquire in a 3-team trade. But it's going to take 3 teams in order to get this trade done. So Lakers and Philly, get it done. Okay. Come on, y'all. Let's get it done. I'm sure Laker fans will be happy to get this one done. Philly fans are going to be upset, but I still think they'll be a little bit more pleased with having Ben because I'm not sure they've even been around anymore. So let's get this trade going, all right? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this trade. Another good team is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the Minnesota Timberwolves are on their way to another losing season. They are 3-7. They haven't played winning basketball since Jimmy Butler left town or was kicked out of town, whatever they want to call it. Now, the type of player that Butler is, he's I'm going to win. I'm going to work. I'm going to work hard. I don't see that. I didn't see that in that team. And ultimately, he was kicked out of town, in my opinion. And to me, you don't get rid of that caliber player if you are trying to win. Apparently, that was a bad move because I don't see that they've improved. To me, they've gone backwards and they are a losing team, a losing franchise. They tend to do the same thing over and over again. They don't ever get it right. Okay, yes, Anthony Edwards fell into their lap. They didn't do much to get Anthony Edwards. it wasn't hard to make the right decision and pick him. I was expecting them to do the wrong thing. They did the right thing. However, are they capable of building around him? I don't think so. Nonetheless, they're not going to be trading Anthony Edwards, but they may be willing to part with D'Angelo Russell. And now this trade, I'm saying it works. So Philly would get D'Angelo Russell and Josh Okogie for Ben Simmons. So to me, this is a good trade. Or you can do the D'Angelo Russell, Ben Simmons straight up. But I figured Okogie would help them defensively a little bit. He's not obviously Ben Simmons when it comes to the defense, but nonetheless, he can help them out a bit if they feel they need an extra wing or extra player along in that trade. The money aspect, it works perfectly. Okay, and again, Timberwolves need to shake it up a bit because your team is losing. You haven't done anything to improve that team. It's just ridiculous at this point. Like, how many number one picks, how many top three picks are you going to get before you improve your franchise? I just don't understand it. Nonetheless, this works. To me, that's more shooting for Philly by adding D'Angelo Russell. It works. You're getting a young, talented guard. Still don't see how Timberwolves gave up a first for him. He's only averaging 17 points per game. So to me, that's not worth giving up a first rounder, but they did. And watch out what happens with that pick for Golden State. They got their second future coming in in a few years based on that. That was to me a poor decision by the Timberwolves, a team that's constantly in rebuilding mode, and you're always at the top of the draft. You don't trade away your first round picks because history shows you're always going to be picking at the top. So pretty much you was just giving away a Christmas gift to the Warriors and helping them for their next future talented team. As you can see how talented the current roster is, but watch and see. To look back at that trade probably about 5 years, maybe even 6 years from now, and be like, should have kept your pick. But nonetheless, it works. Okay, again, floor spacing for Philly as if they needed it. It'll just be even more floor spacing. To me, Steph Curry is not a point guard, so he can be pushed back as a shooting guard or whatnot. And then if you want, say, Seth coming off your bench, or if you want to put Maxey back on the bench, either way it works. It's probably going to be Seth in that starting lineup along with Russell, and then you got Maxey coming off your bench, which makes your bench strong. Their bench is very solid. It works. On the Timberwolves front, they are getting a player who is going to, obviously, again, like I've been saying, he's going to produce damn near close to a triple-double. He is going to play great defense. Should have won Defensive Player of the Year. Nonetheless, I can see him doing that as soon as he gets back on the court with his new team. So that's a trade that I like. I like that trade for both teams because I don't feel that Philly is going to go backwards in regards to wins because they already have a good roster. You're just adding a different element than what Ben Simmons was giving you. Russell is going to just score the ball. And you have other players who are capable of playing defense on that team. And another team who should be checking for Ben Simmons, and I think they did this offseason, and that trade was rejected, the Indiana Pacers. So this trade is going to need a third team based on salaries because none of these players make the amount of money that Ben Simmons is making. So I have Malcolm Brogdon and Chris Duarte for Ben Simmons and Shaq Milton. That's a good trade, but again, you need a third team to make the money work because Ben is over 33, Brogdon is only at 21, and Chris Duarte is on a rookie contract, and they may be reluctant to part ways with Chris Duarte because of how good he's played so far. He's exceeded everyone's expectations, but they have other players that they can include, or they can part ways with him because you have other players who are playing the same position. And Duarte is most likely going to take a back seat to some of those guys. So it works to me for both parties. You bring in a third team, maybe you don't have to trade Chris Duarte, but that is a more appealing trade for Philly based on what um, this young man has shown thus far. So reasons why Indiana should make this move, because right now you're 4-8, 13th in the Eastern Conference, so it's looking like you're not going to make the playoffs. In fact, if postseason was to start today, you will not be in the playoffs. Brogdon is playing his tail off, probably having his best season of his career. Duarte again, he just popped up out of nowhere. Most people did not think he was going to do that, especially this early on. But nonetheless, he's arrived early and is playing really well. So that's a enticing deal for Philly. That's two really good players. You're getting great defense because Brogdon's going to play really good defense. And again, Ben, that's what Ben brings to the table. Brogdon is going to be a better shooter. So again, you're getting both offense and defense from Malcolm Brogdon, high character player, and you're getting a young player who's really good, showing he can play well. He's shooting a high percentage from the field. He's shooting a really good percentage from threes. Nonetheless, they're not going to make the trade, but it would be a good trade. And then again, for Indiana, it's just the fact that the team isn't playing winning basketball. So adding a player like Ben Simmons, maybe that'll help change some things. They probably need to shake it up because the current roster is not winning. And Eastern Conference has gotten a bit better, and there's some of those lower tier teams that have played much better and have right now surpassed the Pacers. So this will shake some things up. You're still getting a player who is going to get you at least 14, 15 points. Great defense, even better defense than what Brogdon is giving. And he can guard what, 1 to 4, maybe even 1 to 5. Also, rebounds, steals, assists, blocks. You're getting a total package from Ben Simmons. And he's not going to be jacking up threes. I understand that. But you're getting a player who's got potential to be a even better two-way player, because he's a two-way player in the sense that he can play both offense and defense. But when I say he can play offense, obviously it's within the paint, okay? And he's going to play his tail off on defense. If he can improve to and get a better mid-range game, sky's the limits for Ben Simmons. So that's why this trade works. Indiana's not winning with the current roster. I wouldn't say this is a panic trade. I would say this is a good trade for both parties because you have players who play the same position as Duarte, and he's either going to lose minutes, like those minutes are starting to come down, or he's going to go back to the bench, right? He's going to be on the bench. He's going to come off the bench because they have other guys, or slot someone else in there and move them and make a trade. You know, LeVert is really good. He's come back already and he's played really well. So the money for LeVert is a bit higher, but I would prefer to keep LeVert and then move on from the young guy if you're feeling like you want to make that push right now. If not, and you're willing to give up Brogdon and LeVert, that's a bit steep, but they got to figure that out. Like, I would say that's a smarter move is to keep LeVert because he's still young too, okay? He's still very, very young. And then Warren, hopefully he'll be back this year. I don't see Philly taking on Warren, but if you are ready to move on from Warren, you can move Warren and Brogdon, and you're still keeping the young Duarte, and you're still keeping LeVert. Then when you look at Philly's side, you're getting a small forward, a legit small forward, and you're getting your point guard and then Seth can slide back over to the two. Green can play the two, so you have a lot more flexibility if you were to do the Warren deal. But nonetheless, right now, Duarte and Brogdon for Ben and Milton. However, it still needs a third team to make the money work, because financially right now it's not gonna work because of Ben's salary and those guys' salaries. All right, y'all. Let me know what teams you think Ben Simmons should be traded to. What teams you feel are the best fits? Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more on fantasy basketball and all of your basketball information. We got you. Okay. Peace.
Thanks for listening to The Score Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to The Score for more fun and great advice on how to win at fantasy basketball. And if you've got comments or questions about The Score, send them to waiverwirequeen@gmail.com. The Score.